Her scream cut through the quiet evening like a siren. "Thief, you don't belong here!" I had barely stepped out of my truck, the dust from the long drive still settling, when Karen came charging across the fence line. She jabbed her finger toward the acres behind me, acres I had just unlocked with the old brass key my father left me. "You stole this land," she shouted, loud enough for neighbors to poke their heads out. "I watched over it for 10 years, and now you think you can just waltz back and claim it? No, not happening." I set my duffel on the ground and looked at her, calm but firm. It was my father's land. He passed it down to me. Papers are signed, sealed, and filed. This is mine. Karen laughed, shrill and bitter. "Inherited? Don't make me laugh. Everyone knows your family abandoned this place. I kept it up. I made sure no one ruined it, which means it's practically mine." She pulled a folded paper from her bag and slapped it against my chest. "See this? HOA notice. You're trespassing. Pack up and leave before I call the cops." I didn't even glance at the paper. I just said one line that made the neighbors lean in closer. "Call whoever you want, but when they get here, they'll salute me, not you." Karen's smirk faltered for the first time, her eyes narrowing. "What's that supposed to mean?" she hissed. And I simply said, "You'll find out soon enough." Karen's face twisted, half fury, half panic, but she didn't back down. She waved her phone like a badge. "Fine, I'm calling right now. You'll be in handcuffs before the sun goes down." She turned her back, pacing as she shouted into the receiver. "Yes, officer, there's a trespasser here. Dangerous man, claims land that isn't his. Hurry before he causes damage." I leaned against my truck, arms crossed, not moving an inch. A few neighbors had gathered along the fence line, whispering. One older man shook his head. "That land's been in his family for generations. She's digging her own grave." Karen kept glaring at me as she ended the call, her voice loud enough for everyone to hear. "They'll be here any minute, and when they see you on this property, you're done." But what she didn't notice was the dust trail winding up the road, a black SUV heading straight toward us, faster than any local patrol car. My dog barked once, tail wagging as it rolled to a stop. The driver's door opened, and out stepped a man in uniform, polished boots crunching against the gravel. He looked straight at me, then cracked a grin. 10 years, and you finally came back." Karen froze. "Wait, you know him?" The officer's smile faded as he turned toward her. "Know him? Ma'am, you just called the cops on the rightful owner of this land. And worse, on the man who trained half this county's law enforcement." Karen's jaw dropped. "Trained? Law enforcement? That's a lie. He's nothing but a drifter," she shouted, voice trembling now. The officer ignored her. He walked up and clasped my hand tight, his voice steady. "Welcome home, Captain. Place hasn't been the same without you." The neighbors gasped. "Captain?" Karen staggered back a step, shaking her head violently. No, this isn't fair. He abandoned this property for years. I watched over it. I kept it alive. That makes it mine by right." The officer's eyes narrowed. "You watched over it? Lady, you put chains on gates that weren't yours. You posted fake HOA notices. You even cut down trees on his side of the property to build your patio. That's not care. That's theft." Karen's face flushed beet red. "Don't you dare accuse me. I'll sue him. I'll sue all of you." I finally spoke, calm but sharp. "Sue me? You just called the police on a man who spent 20 years serving this country and training the very department you begged for help. You sure you want to play that game?" The crowd buzzed with whispers, phones recording every second. Karen's confident mask was cracking, and she knew it. She clutched her phone like a lifeline, but her voice faltered. This isn't over." And that's when the second SUV pulled up, blacked out windows, government plates gleaming. Karen's lips parted, confusion spilling into fear. Wait, who else is coming?
Two men stepped out of the government SUV, their suits sharp, their sunglasses reflecting the crowd. They didn't waste a second walking past Karen, heading straight toward me. One of them handed me a folder, stamped with the state seal. "Sir," he said firmly, "these are the final transfer papers. This land was officially cleared and recorded in your name last month. Nobody can contest it." Karen lunged forward, her voice cracking. "No, that's not possible. I filed claims, I sent letters, The second agent cut her off. "Ma'am, we reviewed those. Every single one was fraudulent. You forged signatures, falsified HOA authority, and even attempted to register property lines you don't own. That's a crime." The neighbors gasped. Phones tilted closer. Karen's face went pale, but she tried one last push. "You can't prove any of that. Those papers were real." The agent pulled another document from his briefcase, a thick stack stapled at the corner. "Actually, we can. These are your emails, your fake filings, all traced back to your computer. You didn't just step out of line, ma'am. You broke federal law." Karen's knees buckled, and she dropped to the gravel. "No, that's not possible. I filed claims, I sent letters, The officer who had greeted me earlier glanced at the agents. "Should I go ahead and read her rights?" Karen's eyes widened, her voice barely a whisper. "You wouldn't." The officer's reply was cold. "Try me." Karen scrambled to her feet, dust clinging to her skirt. "Wait, you don't understand. I was protecting this community. Without me, this land would have been ruined. I deserve something for that." Her voice cracked, desperation spilling into every word. The agent gave a short laugh. "Deserve? You deserve charges for fraud, trespassing, and harassment. And if you don't calm down, we'll add resisting arrest to the list." The neighbors, who had watched her bully them for years, finally broke their silence. One shouted, "About time!" Another called out, "She fined me for planting tomatoes in my own yard!" Laughter rippled through the crowd, and Karen's face burned red. She spun toward me, tears streaking through her anger. "This isn't fair. You left. You abandoned this place. Why should you get it back when I kept it alive?" I stepped closer, lowering my voice so the crowd leaned in to hear. "Because I didn't just inherit this land, I inherited my father's promise, and unlike you, I know what loyalty means." Karen trembled, opening her mouth to fire back when the agent snapped the cuffs onto her wrists with a metallic click. She gasped, twisting against the steel. "No, not in front of them! You can't humiliate me like this!" The officer shook his head. "Ma'am, you humiliated yourself. You called the cops on the wrong man, and now you're going to answer for it." The neighbors erupted in cheers, some even clapping, phones high in the air to capture every second. And for the first time in 10 years, the land felt like it was truly mine again. Karen thrashed in the cuffs, her voice breaking into high-pitched screams, but the more she fought, the clearer it became her power was gone. The same neighbors she used to intimidate were now smiling, recording, finally free of her grip. One of them, the old man by the fence, tipped his hat toward me. "Welcome home, son. Your father would be proud." That hit me harder than Karen's screams ever could. I glanced at the mountains that framed the land, the same peaks I used to hike with my dad as a kid. For 10 years it had been silent. Now it felt alive again, like the land itself had been waiting for me. Karen's voice cracked as the agents guided her toward the SUV. "You'll regret this. You think you've won, but this isn't over." I stepped forward just as they opened the door, my voice calm but loud enough for her and everyone filming to hear. "I didn't fight for this country to be told I can't stand on my own land, and I sure won't let a fake HOA bully me off it." The officer smirked at my words, shutting the door on her protests. The SUV rolled away, her voice fading into nothing. Silence settled for a moment, then the crowd cheered, some saluting, others clapping. My dog barked, tail wagging like he understood it too. Justice had come home. I picked up my duffel, breathed in the mountain air, and whispered to myself, "Dad, we got it back."